What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today, I want to share with you a key technical analysis tool that has been very respected on the market over the last few months. Now, this has not always been a respected tool because of market conditions, but due to the current market conditions, which is a strong trend to the upside, this analysis tool that I'm going to share with you has been respected extremely well, and I highly recommend that you put it on your charts. I've been tracking this for the last few months. I wanted to make sure that a video had some merit to it, and I think it's finally time that I come out and make this video because this has been respected on the market. It's something that a lot of stocks are respecting. NASDAQ futures, SPY ETF, and QQQ ETF are respecting as well, and it's something that I would absolutely be watching. This tool will either help you guide where the market heads next to the upside, or will help you get an idea of if the market is potentially moving lower. A very key tool. I want to point it out today. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead and jump into it. So the tool that we're talking about is the daily simple moving average, and it's the 20-period simple moving average on the daily chart. I know this is not something that is new to any of you. I know it's a pretty rudimentary tool, but the reason it's so important right now is because of market conditions. Markets have been trending, and moving averages are their best. They are at their best and can be respected the most when the market is in a trend. Before May of this year, you guys probably know, if you've been watching the market, which I will show you here on the charts, the markets were extremely sideways, extremely flat. When a market is flat and sideways, moving averages don't mean anything. But when a stock or when a market continues to trend or starts to trend in a strong direction, whether that's up or whether that's down, moving averages are very important. And over the last few months, since about the beginning of May, we have been in a trend in the market, and the daily 20 SMA has been respected tremendously and is something I would absolutely be watching on your charts. Here is the NASDAQ futures. The blue line on your screen is the daily 20 SMA. Now, the difference between just a simple moving average and a daily simple moving average is that on TOS, wherever you put this tool, it will always have the daily level on your chart. I could go to the 1-minute chart. It will keep it at the daily SMA, right? So if I add just a simple moving average to my chart and I put that at 20, you will see that there are differences here. So I'm going to turn this to green. I'm going to put this on my chart as well. Now you will see here on the daily chart, they are the same, right? You can see the green line and the blue dashed lines are exactly the same. However, if I change this to the 15-minute chart, you will see that there are differences here. You will see the green line sort of tracks the intraday price action because that simple moving average is aligning to the time frame you are looking at. Whereas the daily SMA tool on TOS or wherever you're using it will always put that line at where it is on the daily chart. It's something that I always have on my charts. Every chart I look at, I didn't find much value in it before the start of May. And now there is a lot of value in it, and I'm going to show you here why. I just wanted to quickly run through the difference between a simple moving average and a daily simple moving average, right? You want to make sure you have the daily simple moving average to make sure that you know where this line is on the daily chart, no matter what time frame you are looking at. So if we go back to the daily chart here on the NASDAQ futures, I just want to run through some examples of how this daily SMA has been respected right around the beginning of May. Right, so here is the NASDAQ futures, and this is when the moving averages started to fan out. It's right around the start of April, end of May, right here is really when we started to trend on this market, and when those moving averages started to fan out. When you see these moving averages fan out like this, that means they are getting stronger, right? If we go back to the beginning of this year, we can go back to the end of last year, beginning of this year, look at the mess here on the moving averages. They didn't mean anything because the market was very sideways. However, over the last few months, you can see we're starting to fan these moving averages and the market has been trending. Since around May, the market has retained above that 20 SMA and has bounced every time it came back down into it. So we can see just today, once again, the daily SMA, the 20 daily SMA, respected, right? The market respected it. It wicked off of it and is potentially pushing to the upside. Right here, back in June 26th, we pulled back to that 20 SMA. We held it very nicely. back here, we were retracing back towards it. We held very nicely. Now we can see if we zoom in on the intraday price action today, we'll go to the 4-hour chart here and look at the last few days. We can see the last few days of price action on the NASDAQ futures have held that 20 SMA. That daily 20 SMA has held both yesterday and today. It's acting as a level of support that I would be focusing on the market. Now, it's not just the NASDAQ, right? This is just one example. I'm going to go over to the ES futures. Here's the ES futures since the beginning of May. You can see those moving averages have started to fan out. And you can see over the last few days here on the daily chart, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in to the last few days. We can see that both yesterday and today respected once again. It was respected here, right? And we're starting to see this daily 20 SMA start to respect on this market. Now, I'm going to go to the SPY ETF. Here is a great example again, right? The pullback back in June, back to that 20 SMA, that daily 20 SMA, held very nicely. The pullback over the last few weeks, once again, held right at that daily 20 SMA. If I go to the 15-minute chart, what we can see here is we can actually look at where it is on the 15-minute chart, where the daily 20 SMA is, even when we change the time frame. So we can see yesterday, on Monday, the SPY ETF pulled back aggressively, held that daily 20 SMA, and since then has pushed to the upside. So since we have daily 20 SMA on our charts, we can go to any time frame and we can see how it was respected. What I recommend here as well, the reason why this keeps getting scaled out, I recommend going to price axis, and I recommend removing fit studies, right? That's sort of annoying. We want to make sure it doesn't try to fit all the studies in one screen. So we can see here, if we zoom into yesterday's price action, look at how well that daily 20 SMA was respected on the intraday price action. That was the SPY, right? And we can see how well that was respected over the last few months. If we go to the QQQ ETF, here's another great example. We can see here on the QQQ ETF, we have held that daily 20 SMA here, and we held it once again over the last few trading days. If I go to the 5-minute chart, we can go down and we can see, look at the daily 20 SMA over the last 2 trading days. It held it very strong yesterday, right? Right here, we held it very strong all day. And also today, we also held it very nicely into end of day, right? Every time we sort of extend ourselves past it, look at how quickly buyers step up and push this thing back above this blue line, which is the daily 20 SMA. So those are just some examples. There are more, right? Let me go ahead and jump into some individual stocks. Here is Tesla, right? And we can see that that daily 20 SMA has really started to extend. I'm going to go to the daily chart here, and you guys can see on the recent Tesla pullback, look at where it held, that daily 20 SMA, and we are pulling back to it once again. I'm going to go to NVIDIA. Look at NVIDIA. This one's actually very interesting. NVIDIA, look at the grind here on this daily 20 SMA over the last few days. Every single time NVIDIA has popped back into this blue line, there has been a very strong wick bounce off that daily 20 SMA. If I go to the hourly chart and we can zoom in, look at those intraday levels, and using this as a way to potentially long off of has been a very, very profitable strategy, right? That again is in the recent market conditions. I'm going to go to some more names. I'm going to go to Apple, right? Apple again. I'll go to the daily chart. Look at Apple on the grind to the upside since around March of this year. 20 SMA, 20 SMA, 20 SMA again, right? And here we are again at the daily 20 SMA on Apple as we speak and we make this video. If I go to the 30-minute chart, we can see what's happened over the last 2 trading days. You can see yesterday we pulled back into that daily 20, held it. Today we were below it, but got bought back above that daily 20 SMA. If someone could count how many times I say daily 20 SMA in this video, I'll send you a little donation. So, a lot of major tech stocks, the QQQ, the SPY ETF, the NASDAQ futures, these ES futures, and some major tech names have all been riding higher at this daily 20 SMA. It's something that I think you need to add to your charts. Not only is this a way to see if a stock could potentially bounce off of the level, this is also a way that I think you could see whether a stock is starting to lose strength. There are a few stocks that I'm about to go over now that have broken below their daily 20 SMA and have lost strength since that break, right? So here's a few names. Google. Google has been weak. After breaking below its daily 20 SMA, which is right here, you can see the blue line. We broke below that blue line here back in around June 20th. Since the break below the daily 20 SMA on June 20th, Google has been unable to get back above it. It has been unable to break back above that level. And actually here on the 5th of July, we can go to the 5-minute chart. On the 5th of July, look at how clean the rejection of that daily 20 SMA was. Look at how clean it was again here. Since breaking below, Google has been unable to get back above, signaling that there could be some weakness on this name. If we go to a stock like AMD, here's AMD. AMD broke below the daily 20 here on the 20th of June, the same day as Google. Since that day, AMD has not been able to get back above it, and it also rejected it here on June 5th. What do you know, right? June 5th, same exact day that Google rejected its 20, right? So these names that are trading below their daily 20 SMA are showing signs of weakness, whereas there's some names that continue to hold it. Now, this is why I bring up, if you see a stock start to break its daily 20, that could be your signal that this could start to get weak and the market could start to reverse in a different direction. This is why I think this is very important, especially into tomorrow, which we have CPI. If we start to see the ES futures or the NASDAQ futures start to break and lose the daily 20 SMA as support and start to turn it into a potential rejection point, that is where we could potentially signal that the market is starting to weaken. I know this is not some kind of level that's going to make you a beautiful millionaire trader. I understand that. But it has been respected in the current market environments. And as a trader, we need to keep up to date with the market environment and the current trends. The trend as of now seems to be that this is a very respected moving average, the daily 20 SMA, and I think it is of your benefit to make sure you have it on the chart, and it could potentially be a way to find some potential trade setups. Now, you probably see the other lines that are on my chart. That is the 20, the 50, the 100, and the 200 SMA. You guys can see that right here, 20, 50, 100, and 200 daily SMA, and those are color coordinated. So the blue is the 20, the yellow is the 50, the green is the 100, and the red down here is the 200. We can also keep an eye on the next one under the 20 is the 50, right? That's your next big daily SMA. And we can see just today, here's an example on AMD. If we go to the 5-minute chart on AMD, this is not some type of voodoo magic, right? Look at where AMD held all day today. It's no coincidence. 50 SMA, daily 50 SMA, 4 times it tried to break today and it could not, right? So if we go to the daily chart, we can see, is this a potential opportunity to long AMD off that 50? We'll have to obviously see market conditions. There's a lot more factors to take into consideration. You don't just long something off this level, right? There are much more tools to be looking at, supply and demand levels, market conditions. But, right, we can see how these levels are respected. I have the 20, the 50, the 100, and the 200 on my charts pretty much at all times. And I like to use them even for my intraday trading, right? If I'm on the 1-minute chart, if I'm on the 2-minute chart, I want to make sure I know where that daily SMA is, whether it's the 20, the 50, the 100, or the 200. Again, I want to make it very clear that a moving average only works in a trending market. If you guys are looking at a stock that's trading sideways, let's say like, Snapchat, PayPal, some of these flatlining stocks that really haven't been moving, I can't think of all of them off the top of my head, do not pay attention to the moving averages. The moving averages are strong when the stock is actually moving in a certain direction in a trend. You start to see the moving averages get respected. Again, this is just a little bit of an educational video, a little bit of a update video on some things I'm looking at on the market, some things that I've been using to actually take trades myself. If you guys do enjoy today's video, press that like button. If you know any stocks that have been respecting their daily 20 SMA, make sure to leave them down below. I appreciate any input, any advice you guys have for the videos. As always, thank you for the support. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.